Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to talk about TSMC today. Welcome to my new channel anyway. If you like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers. I'm quite close at the moment, so any help would be appreciated. Anyway, I'm here to talk about semiconductors and especially TSMC. All the latest news regarding TSMC, and so I'll start with this article. As you can see, TSMC has made a lot of profit last year, mainly because they are the best foundry out there, and they are making chips 5 nanometers and nearly on 3 nanometers pretty soon. So they're investing a lot of money on new foundries and new fabs, and mainly in America, in Arizona. And here it says they're spending 28 billion in Arizona, but this article came up just today, and they're actually planning to spend up to 6 fabs in Arizona by the looks of it, and so they will be spending a lot of money in America. So this is kind of bad news for Intel, really. So I want to show you this map, and this map is basically how TSMC and Samsung have compared to Intel over the past year or so. So you can see all the way until June last year, 2020, Intel was on a par with TSMC and they were on a par with Samsung. So all before that, they were all, competing with each other. Since July last year, you can see how Intel has actually gone down, and you can see Samsung and especially TSMC how they've shot up. And as you know, TSMC and Samsung are currently on their 5 nanometers, and where Intel is pretty far behind. And I believe they're not even on 7 nanometers yet, and they're going to be building a new fab soon, which will build a 7 nanometer fab, but that's going to be another 2-3 years. So as you can see, also TSMC and Intel and Samsung are also talking about 2 nanometers as well, but that's way in the future. So I want to talk about Intel as well, and you can see Intel's 7 nanometer fab construction crew hit by COVID-19 outbreak, and looks like that's pretty much going to be delayed for another year or so. And I saw this article here. Intel 7 nanometers is broken. Company announces delays until 2022 and 2023. And you can see company says 7 nanometer CPU will not debut on the market until 2022 and 2023. For me, that's too late, because TSMC and Samsung are pretty much 5 nanometers, and TSMC are pretty much going on to 3 nanometers soon. And if USA allows TSMC to build 6 fabs in Arizona, what do you think that's going to do to Intel and its business? So when you got 6 fabs in Arizona all building 5 nanometers, and they all, and Intel comes up with 7 nanometers, the market's going to be flooded with TSMC products. No one's going to go to Intel, really. I mean, this is one of the things where you got to kind of look at America and what it's doing, really, and they are just gonna push Intel out the market and push Intel into bankruptcy, really. I mean, they're allowing TSMC to flood the market. I mean, if Trump was around, he would not allow this. He would say America first, blah blah blah, America company first, and stuff. So what this is doing is allowing TSMC to take all the profits from America, and companies like Intel is going to be kind of under TSMC's umbrella, really. So that's my kind of thoughts. I want to go on to the next piece of news as well. As you know, TSMC is currently having a drought at the moment in Taiwan, and a couple of reasons they are moving to America is, America as well as TSMC, they want to have some redundancy in their fab and foundry, so they don't want to put all the eggs in one basket. For example, if there's a war with China and things like a drought, for example, like what's happening right now, it puts the company at a huge risk, and having it in America, I guess, gives them an extra redundancy. So if there is a war, they can still carry on creating their 5 nanometer chips, and they can still supply to the US military, because most of it goes into their F-35s and stuff, and other military missiles and things like that. So there's not much of an impact on USA if a war breaks out in the Taiwanese Strait. So anyway, I mean, what's Taiwan doing about the drought at the moment? So first of all, they're going to be building a huge water treatment plant, and this water treatment plant is basically going to be built by the end of this year, and it's just going to be reusing all the water that they use, because when you have a foundry, it uses a huge amount of water, and you can't, and it needs to be proper water, not seawater, and what they're going to do now is try and reuse all of that water, so that they don't put themselves at risk. So what Taiwan TSMC is doing at the moment, they are getting water from all parts of Taiwan. They're importing a lot of water as well. But once this huge water treatment plant is complete, I mean, they will be free from that. So the other piece of news which I want to kind of talk about is TSMC is also planning a wafer factory in China as well. But unfortunately, this is only going to be 28 nanometers and above, so it's only going to be mature chipsets. And you can see on April 22, TSMC convened an ad hoc board of directors meeting, approved an investment of 2.88 billion to install new production lines for 28 nanometer chips at Nanjing plant in China, expecting a mass production of monthly output of 40,000 units by 2023. So a lot of people are actually against this happening, because first of all, what people are saying in China especially is, first of all, things like this. He stated that China needs advanced technology of 14 nanometer processes and below, not 28 nanometer processes and above, which is mature technology, which is correct, because with all the trade sanctions at the moment, China needs, cutting edge technology, needs 14 nanometers and above, really. 28 nanometers, they already got that with SMIC, and SMIC is also building a couple of foundries as well. They've been given a lot of state backing, and they are able to produce 28 nanometer chips at a yield of 90 to 95%, which is very similar to what TSMC produces. So that's going to be ready in the next few years once that foundry is open. But also SMIC is also building other foundries as well. They're building a 14 nanometer foundry. But I think with TSMC building a 28 nanometer foundry in China, I think it's kind of an insult to the Chinese, really. I mean, they're like saying, "Oh, we're not going to supply you with advanced chips, but what we're going to do is give you mature chips," and that's just going to impact companies like SMIC and other chip companies in China, really, and they're just going to take their profits, really, because they see that China is a huge market. But they don't want to give them advanced chips, so they said, "All right, we know it's a huge market. What we'll give you 28 nanometers chips. Take that, and still try and milk the Chinese market." So I think it's a bit unfair of TSMC doing that, and I don't know what China is really doing about it. I think there's a couple of people who actually said to boycott it. For example, this one, if we support TSMC production expansion in Nanjing, so China won't be able to obtain advanced process technology in chip manufacturing, and Chinese companies won't obtain advanced chip products. Our chip industry will still be held back by US sanctions. Zhang is also concerned that TSMC will crush China's chip makers by dumping and hence dominating China's market, a typical approach that CCP-controlled companies often use to crush foreign competitors. So as you can see, TSMC's move to China is to kind of stifle the Chinese market, and it is quite clever what they're doing, but I guess it's going to be down to the Chinese government to see what they do about that. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's all I wanted to kind of talk about TSMC for now. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and we'll chat soon. Thanks. Bye.